What I do on pizza.
Actually, I know part of it, but.
Oh, since you think you know everything. What is it?
One of them is onion.
I love onions.
You do love onions.
Fucking love. I actually just love to eat onions. Isn't
Ew.
that? Don't. Fuck you. That was rude.
You and Devin. Hasn't Devin said that too?
Mm-hmm. Do you like onion rings?
Crazy girl.
Not weird.
To eat a raw onion like an apple?
I could do it.
That.
Yeah. That would backfire on the people who try and fuck with me with those caramel apple things. I'd be like, joke's on you. I like that.
That would be terrifying.
That's how you would know somebody's a serial killer. I would stop hanging. So, like, I feel like it'd be okay for me to do it because, like, I'm quirky. I'm weird, you know? Whatever.
Oh, okay.
But if I saw somebody doing it, I'd be like, Brie, we should go. Brie, I would be like, Brie, get up.
I would push you.
I'd be like, Brie, get up. We're leaving. But anyway, what I would get on a pizza is I would do pepperoni. I would do green peppers and onion. And that's the perfect pizza for me. And then I like to get garlic sauce and dip it.
You do like green peppers.
I fucking love garlic and I love onions.
I was just having this conversation with one of our coworkers, and we both agreed that it is so stupid that when like you're ordering pizzas multiple for like a big event and everybody wants pepperoni or they want sausage or they want all these things, they all still go for the cheese.
Oh my God, they do. They do. That. They fucking do.
And I'm like, fuck that. You wanted pepperoni and shit like that.
So go get your pepperoni, Mark. Mark just slaps it out of his hand. You should just take it off their plate. That's not for you.
Yeah. Ooh, if I was ever so bold.
That would be so funny if you just like took their plate from them. I would be like, no. You said pepperoni.
Fill up a plate with pepperoni and just switch
put their
plates.
Stuff back in the box. Okay, I hope you guys have fun.
Also, just to clarify so everybody knows, the kind of pizza that we're talking about, as I'm talking about pizza, what I'm picturing in my mind is tavern cut thin crust. That is the actual Chicago pizza, not deep dish.
Oh.
That is for company. That's when you have a tourist in town and you're like, well, you got to do this.
You know what? I am inclined to agree.
I'm not saying we never eat it.
No, correct.
But it's
a thin crust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everybody rags on us for deep dish, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's not what I eat for pizza
in
either.
It or something.
We're not all sleeping on a deep dish pizza.
We literally want to shit, so we can't eat deep dish all the time.
We are the Midwest, so we love cheese, but also it doesn't always love us.
Right. So like we have to think about it. You got to pick your battles. But what do you guys like to eat? Also, hi everybody. Hello. Do you shit on the regular? No, I'm just kidding.
What's your poop schedule like?
Oh my God, I hate what we're doing. I get really bad secondhand embarrassment, you guys, from like I'm 12, obviously, and it always makes me like I like sometimes can't watch like rom-coms because I get such bad secondhand embarrassment for the people, and I like would like even when I was younger would have to fast forward because I'm like they're fools. I hate it.
There's no figuring it out though for you because you love Impractical Jokers.
Oh my God, but that's like you always talk to me about that, but like I wanna emphasize that these men like they know they're doing it on purpose.
Yeah, but
the people in the movies they make it seem like that's what they would do in a real life situation because that's the character they're playing, and I can't. I'm like, really? That's how you handle it? Oh, and I'm like, I just have to go. But anybody, I digress. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
I don't watch rom-coms often.
Welcome
I don't want to
home.
talk about your poop schedule either because I got nervous just now.
At least not right when you walked in.
Hi, are you pooping on the regular? How was your day? Sorry, shoot. Reverse that.
I do like imagining people like coming in and having just come in.
Grab you by the shirt. Did you poop today?
And then we're having the conversations we have with them. And this one, that's a lot.
Yeah, I hope you guys didn't leave. Are you still here?
I hope you're still here. If it is your first time here, I promise this is not what we normally do.
I feel like a juvenile. I am so sorry.
I think I need to though.
Be a juvenile?
Yeah, life's just been hard lately. Like more so than usual. I don't know why. But anyways, if this is your first time here, I'm Brie.
I'm Abby. Buckle up. I'm sorry. We are like 0 to 100 very quickly. We'll go from talking about your bowel movements to be proper to life is chaotic and it's ruining and it's on fire.
Yeah, no matter what we're talking about, though, we're still your rent-free roommates.
Oh, bitch. That was a very good segue. I did enjoy that.
So much.
Good job. You know, if things aren't going well, just know that intro, beautiful.
Okay.
You know?
Perfect.
It's the little things.
And if we haven't scared you away and you are willing to come back again, you can know when we have new episodes if you subscribe and if you follow us on social media. And we would love to hear from you. You can email us at rentfreeroommates@gmail.com. And you can either tell us, hey, stop talking about poop. Or
no, yeah. You can be like, I thought you ladies were how old? Like, I thought this was a podcast for mature people. First off, we never said that. And your mother. And I know what you are, but what am I? So, no, we would love to hear from you all. And we would love for everyone to praise Bree. Right? Did you know that I was going to do this? You didn't.
No.
Come on. How about a little commotion for her social media post for our last podcast? And I'm not going to tell you what it is because you'll just have to follow us, baby, in order to see. But I will say some of her best work yet.
Thank you.
Bitch.
It's a lot of fun.
But like,
I've been having a lot of fun with social media.
You've been doing really great.
Thank you so much.
You're really crushing the game. And I'd love for you guys to recognize that. And the only way you can do that is if you follow us.
Yeah, then you can see all of it.
All of it.
Well, we are rent-free roommates everywhere except for Twitter, where we are rent-free roomies. And if you are going to email us at rentfreeroommates@gmail.com, that is rentfreeroommates@gmail.com.
Boom. And as a reminder, you can literally email us about anything that's on your mind. We literally
anything.
Bitch, why did we say literally at the same time? Brie and I have been doing that so much more lately where we've been talking at the same time and I'm just like, get out of my head. But no, we literally want to hear about everything going on in your life, the good, the bad, the ugly. If it's embarrassing, maybe just have Brie read it. Ooh, I don't know if I can. Anyway, but no.
I have so much respect for anybody that can share an embarrassing story.
I mean, truly, I'm being dramatic. I'm being very dramatic because I feel like all of my stories are chaotic about my life.
You gotta be able to laugh at yourself.
You really, truly do. I'll cringe. Brie will laugh.
Well, but I'm such a hypocrite because I am awful at remembering embarrassing things. And I am so easily embarrassed. I avoid at all cost any type of embarrassment. So I think for much of my life, I really have tried to not do anything to embarrass myself. And so then anything embarrassing has got to be from like a really long time ago, and I just don't remember. I'm just sitting in the corner doing nothing.
Constantly, like a sim.
I'm very boring.
A sim with no action picked.
I just like flail my arms every now and then.
And then shrugs her shoulders and looks up to nowhere. That's what Brie does.
I often leave my plates on the floor next to the garbage can.
Don't even get me started. The Sims were so fucking unhinged. And like it did you ever before we get into these stories, I need to know, and everybody let me know as well. So when you make a Sim, you have to like choose life goals and everything for it. Did anyone ever succeed in doing that? Because like me as a Virgo, oh God, I just always realize a lot about myself. But like I would actively like make my sim. I'm like, no, you said I picked librarian, you're going to be a writer or whatever. I made them so I would like make them do it. And like they would try and do other things, but I would be like, no. I'm a bad person because
it was always something creative. It was like, they're going to be a rock star.
Did you ever succeed? Were you ever a rock star, though?
I don't think they quite got that far because I would get bored. All I wanted to do was
design
the house.
I know. Designing the house was so fun. Mother load. But everybody let me know because I wasn't trying to work for that money, babe. I tried that and I got my kids taken away. So I said, fuck that. We scam. We ride. But everybody let me know. Did your Sims ever achieve their goals?
I just made multiple families with like all of my crushes. Like I would just make, I had so many different families. And it was just me and whoever I had a crush on at the time.
Oh my God, you freaking hoe and abandoner. There are probably so many husbands out there. You're like the Neopets that haven't been fed since like 2001. Your husband's just like, she never came back.
None of them deserve it, so
right,
it's fine.
So obviously, Brie just stands there and can't be tied down. And my Sim hasn't left the house in 6 years because they fucking said they wanted to be a writer. They said they wanted to be a writer. God damn it.
Sit down and you will write.
All right. Jesus. I'm not this unhinged normally.
I don't know. I feel like we say that a lot.
I know. At what point is it just the truth?
Is it just our norm?
All right, fuck it. Let's get into it. Sorry, I am who I am.
Literally, like, if I try to sing any of the songs that I've known from, like, childhood, like Hanson, Spice Girls, Backstreet Boys, and sing any of those, I don't know almost any of the words. The ones...
No, you heard me try to sing Spice Girls before the podcast, and I think halfway through, I started singing another song of theirs. And then to this day, I'm still going to get confused. Justin Timberlake.
Is part of...
NSYNC.
Yeah!
Yeah, baby! You guys, I constantly make Brie and my other roommate mad because I don't know anything about boy bands. And they do a lot. Like when
you were too busy listening to Korn.
I love Korn. Why does that make you laugh?
I don't know why that was one of the most surprising
love
things.
Korn.
To learn about
the
you.
food too.
Yeah.
The band and the food.
I'm a much bigger fan of the food.
I fucking love Korn. I would love to go to a concert and just fucking mosh pit it up. What? Stop. Okay.
I love that. But I also love misheard lyrics.
So everybody knows Fergalicious. And
everybody knows.
Everybody knows. Everybody knows. So the infamous line.
Yeah, the beat that I'm
banging is delicious.
Yeah.
So everybody, years. I'm talking up until maybe like a month ago. I had the realization that that's what they were saying. My entire life, I thought Will.i.am was saying that the beat that he's banging was dull as shit. And I was like, what an odd line to throw in there. Like, very negative. Very negative.
I love how honest he is.
You know what, guys? This beat's dull as shit, but keep it going.
But, like, fucking do your thing.
Let's keep it. We got a track to make. Keep it rolling. We don't have all day.
This is dull as shit, but, like, you can have it.
Fergalicious definition.
Then she comes in
She's
hard.
like, I'll save it. I'll save it.
That's all I ever hear anymore when I hear it.
I didn't even question it, too. I was like, weird thing to say, man.
Well, that's when
I was like, but I don't have the Grammys. I'm not the Grammy.
In that moment, I think that's when I told you that for way too far into my adulthood, I thought that the lyrics were, I guess it rains down in Africa.
I don't know. I've never really been, so.
I was like, that makes sense.
I guess it rains.
Not, I bless the rain. And then
if I had to take a guess, I do think it rains in Africa.
I guess.
I don't know though. I don't know.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Have you been? Did it rain when you were there? Does a tree make a sound when it falls?
You made an entire song about it.
Does anyone know?
But yeah, I was in my 20s when I learned
it's tough
that it is bless the rain.
It's tough being stupid.
Oh man,
it's tough being Brie and Abby.
And then this is not mine, but one of my favorite misheard lyrics I've ever heard. I think I heard it on like Vine or something, but it was, do you know the song, would you know my name if I saw you in heaven?
No.
Well, that's a song.
Okay.
Would you know my name?
I was too busy listening to Korn. Sorry.
Would you? It's really bad because it's like about his like son that died when he was young.
Oh,
somebody misheard it as, would you know my name if I changed it to Kevin? funny to me. Would you know my name if I changed to Kevin? I don't know. Did you give me a warning or something?
Would you remember me then? I don't know. I could go get it changed tomorrow. I think they open at 8.
Oh, I love misheard lyrics. That is one of my favorite conversations to have.
And luckily, living with me, I feel like you get a lot.
Way more than I ever knew there could be.
Than you ever knew possible. You are like, what does she listen? What does she hear?
But I truly, like, I'm no better. I just don't sing with the confidence you do.
Correct. Yes. That's why I don't do karaoke, because I just feel like...
But the words are there.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're giving them to you.
I don't have the confidence there, but at home I could put on a full concert of whatever I feel like.
I think that would be some of the best karaoke if you went out and confidently, even with the words in front of your face, sang the lyrics you think.
I feel like Fergalicious I'll do.
That, yeah.
And see if anybody catches it.
That would be that would be great. I think you'd be a hit.
Okay, I'm going to do it next time.
Okay, good.
Great. Let's give some advice. What should I say when a friend with anxiety tells me something they're worried about? I don't have anxiety, but I want to learn how to better support my friends who have anxiety. Sometimes a friend with anxiety expresses a fear to me in the form of what if, an unlikely scenario, for instance, what if my boss secretly hates me, or what if I get fired for no reason? I try to help by convincing the person why that scenario is unlikely. This makes me feel better when I'm worried, so I assume it will make them feel better too. However, when I respond in this manner, some people feel like I'm invalidating their emotions or dismissing their fears, which is not my intent. I truly want to help them feel better. How should I respond instead? I'd really appreciate specific examples of things to say or even a general script.
That's a good one. I think we can both relate to that. I mean, I think I would like, I know I can't.
Are you like
but
me,
I would
wondering
like
what
to
they've
hear.
been saying?
Yeah.
I was thinking that too. I know that me personally, when either I'm giving or receiving advice, it's really helpful to first just like start by hearing, like, Brie, you do this with me especially, and it's really nice because I feel like one of my biggest things in my life is that like I will self-doubt my feelings or like analyze the fuck out of them to where like I almost make excuses for why somebody did something because I'm too busy, like, again, invalidating my feelings by like trying to analyze it and make it make sense, when it's like you can just feel a certain way and that be it. Like, it doesn't need to be some like big thing. Like, somebody can hurt your feelings, and that's one thing that Brie always does, is she's always like, first off, you're like fine for thinking that, your feelings are valid, like it's normal why you did this. And that honestly always helps me feel like more candid too. Because I'm like, well, it just, because you think too, and I'm sure a lot of people do, but like you go into it sometimes being like, am I overreacting? It's just that and the other. And you kind of almost want to like take out certain parts of the story that like maybe are crucial to something in an effort to not look crazy or feel like you're like overreacting about something. But when you hear, honestly, that like it's fine that you feel that way, I feel like it's helpful for the person, either like at least for me, to be more honest and forthcoming and actually like give all of the info to get to like the root of an issue or actually have an open discussion that helps me.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad that I didn't realize that I do that. And
I know. Do you want a Kleenex? Well, like I try and do it too because like you would do it. Like I caught on because I'm like, well, you know, it always makes me feel more forthcoming. And it's like, I feel like anybody too. It's like you don't want to go into a scenario with like somebody being like, well, you feel this way because of this. It's like, no, sometimes I'm just going to feel.
Right. Yeah.
And it's important for you to acknowledge that as well. Like, I don't necessarily need an A to B because so like, therefore I feel C. Right now I feel hurt. Here's why. And like, I want to talk about that, validate that.
Right. Abby and I are freaking attached at the hip at this point. Like we are like Siamese twins. We live together. We work together. We do everything together. Cannot get enough each other. But there's still stuff about Abby that I don't know. And there's stuff, you know, even something that feels like a tiny little thing to me that happened years and years and years ago that is actually triggering whatever this feeling is that she's having now. that could have happened. And I don't know that. So I can't say this is why you're feeling this way, because that might not be true. It might be kind of true. There might be some correlation to the two, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting to the root of the issue. So we all at some point or multiple times a day have so many feelings or start freaking out about something that we probably don't need to be freaking out about. But it's like when you're really, really angry about something or you're yelling about something, somebody saying calm down is the worst thing you could say to a person.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You have to validate the feelings first, whether you understand those feelings or not. Validate them, because it's not on you to understand them, and just because you don't understand them or you haven't felt them doesn't mean it's not real.
Right. Like, just because you don't think, like, you know that the boss won't fire them doesn't mean that's gonna help them feel any better by just being like, no, they're not gonna fire you. Right. Like, at least for me, because I've thought that before too. Like, you get an email, you see something pop up on your calendar.
Right. We were just having this conversation.
Truly.
And it was me though. I was like, ugh.
But like, the thing is too is what I've done, and it's really helpful for me too, and this is how I also talk to other people when they come to me with like intrusive thoughts like this, is one thing I always like to do is, again, step 1, validate. Step 2, ask them a little bit more about what they're feeling and why, because I feel like, at least for me, when I start to like kind of be like, why, or like break down why I'm feeling this way, I can usually like isolate it to just like a trigger and know that it's in my mind, and therefore I'm able to calm down a lot faster. So, and it took a lot of work, and it took a lot of like self-reflecting and like, you know, jumping back from the moment. But like, and I like to extend this branch to other people too, is this a what if thought? If so, it's intrusive. And because like you don't have any facts to back this up. So a what if is you have no facts. It's just a theory. And then another thing that I do is, again, try and like, what is this, a hypothesis? But it's true. Like, it's what I'm testing, because I'm like, well, what evidence do I have to support this thought? Like, when I'm like, my friends hate me, I'm like, okay, but like, why? What did I do? What, like, if they're my friends, they would tell me too. Yeah. Like that kind of thing. Or I'm like, if my boss was truly mad at me, like, my boss would address it quicker, or I would have like some evidence of a screw up or something to back what I'm thinking. And again, too, like, if any company ever fired me over like a lost order or some shit like that, I'd be like, peace. Yeah. That's lame. Yeah. But like, the thing is too, is like, when I do have those thoughts, it's always important, especially when I like express them to Bree. She's just like, yeah, I understand why you're feeling that way. Like, that's valid. That's normal in that scenario. She's like, but what about this? Like, what's making you think this way?
I think that to get more information so that you can kind of understand the situation or why they're feeling the way they are. And to do it you're really good at this. I'm always worried that my tone of voice comes off whatever way it comes off. Abby is very good at just being very like even toned, and just her tone of voice is very understanding and just kind of very leveled. And it just, it's kind of like if you whisper, the other person that you're talking to will probably start whispering. It's like a psychology thing. So that's also a great thing to do to kind of put the fires out, is to just speak calmly and in an understanding way. Wow. And ask why, just get more information.
Who knew that this podcast was just going to be Bree and I complimenting each other? Spoiler alert, we do it every podcast. No, but thank you. That's really beautiful. I actually do try and do that, because it's also really helps to navigate the situation too a lot better. And again, just like like you said, keep it even like keeled.
Yeah, because you say things in a matter-of-fact way. You make things sound matter-of-fact, but not in a way where it's like, you idiot. Yeah. It doesn't come off that way. You're just like, you're saying things and it's like, well, this is the facts. And you're like, and just the way, so then the way that you say it, I'm like, oh, you're right. And then immediately, like, I start calming down, and I'm like, and also what you said, because I think I started really recognizing it when you bring it up on the podcast, since we've started doing the podcast. And you always talk about, they would come to me, or they would tell me if they were mad at me. They would tell me if this was this, like people coming to you, kind of reminding yourself that it's a good thing to get into that habit. I didn't do that until I heard Abby start saying that stuff, and I've done that myself to kind of talk myself down.
No, it's really helpful too, because it also puts accountability on them, because it's like, if this person isn't being like an adult too and expressing themselves, then like that's also on them.
Yeah.
As well. And like, that's where I'm like, well, you have to be an adult as well. Like, if you're mad at me, you need to say it, because it's not our job to always wonder that too. Like, communication is key here. So I have found that really helps me too, because like I used to get like anxiety, because like I have trouble opening up to people, to be honest. Like, we all kind of know that. But like, there would be times where like I would reveal things to like friends that I like wasn't like, I was like, ooh, this is gonna be like, are they gonna want to talk to me after this? And that was like my anxiety. And it's like, well, what evidence do I have to support that?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, here's the next question I ask myself is, I'm like, well, why would I want anybody that can't accept me for that? Like, that kind of thing too. Putting accountability back on people has really helped me too. Like, with like my anxiety, and when like I do give advice to people too, when they're like, what if? And I'm like, well, it's your boss's responsibility to talk to you then if there's an issue. And if not, babe, sue. Because they got to keep record of that stuff. It's true. They can't just fire you without like proven record. You bet you didn't think you'd get some legal advice in this too. But they have to give proven record that they're trying to work with you. They do.
And then I would say the next step after that, so after validating and then getting more information, asking them why are you feeling, like, what's making you feel that way? And why do you feel that way? I would then, what I like to do, what I always try to do, is give them the credit for things that they already do for themselves.
Yes, you are really good at that too.
Like, remind, like, be like, if it was something about their job, if they're freaking out, thinking that they're about to get fired, even though, you know, like they've been given more responsibilities, and that can be really, really stressful, and it can feel like you can feel overwhelmed in that situation. So, like, that totally makes sense. That's the whole validating the feelings. It's like, no, like, you have been getting more. Yeah.
You're in a new phase.
Totally get that.
You're navigating.
Yeah. It's been a while since you have been doing something new within your job.
And I love when you say that.
So it totally makes sense that you're a little freaked out again. It's like you're starting the job again. And that's the worst part of any job, is starting the new job, because you just want to know everything. So totally get that, but they wouldn't be giving you these responsibilities if they didn't think you could handle it. Them giving you all these responsibilities is actually a good sign, I think.
It is. And also, at the end of the day, like, intrusive thoughts are going to happen. They're normal. I feel like they're just a part of life, but it's really important how to navigate them. And if you're not someone who does suffer from them, you're lucky.
Yeah. What's that like?
Yeah. Do you just fall asleep right away without ever thinking of every embarrassing thing you've ever done?
What's it like to have a quiet brain?
Can't relate. But if you are somebody that's fortunate enough that that's not something your day-to-day life is like, and you don't have to know for the person who's like involving you with this information, but it is like a respect thing too. And just because you don't personally have to go through their struggle or think like they do doesn't mean that like they know those clear hard facts like you do. So they might need to be reminded of that.
We're all really bad at giving ourselves credit for things that we are actually good at.
And remind them of that too, because it's so easy to focus on the negative, and that's how they keep spiraling too.
Right.
So, I mean, if you notice, because like Brie will do that, and we'll like often remind each other of like what hard workers we are. And like truly it like boosts my morale so much, because like it's so easy to look at yourself in like this negative light. Or like even when I had a meeting recently and everyone was like talking about like what like strong assets you bring to the team, hearing some of like the feedback I got, I was like, no shit. I was like, that's dope. Yeah, I had no idea y'all thought that.
Good to hear those things.
And right, because it's so easy to be the one on yourself too. So like also like one thing I love to do and like say is like, see something, say something. Yeah. Like with that, like.
Right. Yeah, if it's not, I'm trying to think of like not job related stuff, but even just if these are your friends, and just even with little bits of information, call out good things they do that you've seen. Like if you've seen them help another friend kind of like calm themselves down, call that out. Be like, you're actually very good at kind of regulating and calming down. give yourself the same kind of treatment you would give your friend. And I think that's probably also a good thing to have whatever anxious friend you have or anxious person you're talking to, flip the perspective so that they're not thinking about it as themselves.
Yeah.
And doing that, it sounds kind of cheesy or it sounds like very simple, but when you're freaking out, the simplest things.
But it's true.
Yeah. It's like when you're looking
because
for
you're
one
only
thing in a
thinking of
rush,
it like yourself
and
too.
You're never going to find it. Yeah. So making them think about something, be like, what would you tell your friend?
Right.
And they might kind of talk that down at first because it's like that can be frustrating sometimes, but it'd be like, well, no, and go back to like validating, be like, no, I totally get it, but you have seen other people in this situation. How are you feeling when they, like, if somebody else was freaking out about this, like, what would you tell them? It's hard to take our own advice most of the time, but sometimes just hearing ourselves say something out loud just kind of clears the space in your brain or just makes you finally hear something clearly. True. So then you'll calm yourself down even.
Well, it's all about like positive like self-talk and like thoughts too. It's like, again, like I would have friends too that would be like really negative about themselves, and I would be like, well, you're like, your brain hears that, and then those thoughts become words that exist in the universe, and you hear that, you think it's true, all of this, and like I don't even know, like, if Bria, if you catch this, but like sometimes I'll be like, I'm so stupid, and I'll be like, no, I'm not, I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't want to talk about myself like that. I don't want to think like that. Because it's also about like catching that too with your friends. It's like you hear it's like the same thing as like you overhear somebody gossiping about you. It's going to hurt you. Be like, you hear yourself. Mm-hmm. And like you're going to create this reality though with these thoughts.
Right.
And so it's helpful when somebody is being extremely negative about themselves too, is to like be helpful and mindful of like calling that out and being like, this is, if you speak these into existence, this is your existence too.
Yeah.
And that's something I try and be mindful of when I'm like giving people advice or even talking about myself, because it's like, again, really easy to get down on yourself. And it brings me kind of back to Bree's point about like the advice you would give somebody else. It's like, you would never tell somebody else that they're so stupid. So like, why would you tell that about yourself? Right.
I was just going to say, and when people are hearing it for the first time, it makes them uncomfortable because for some reason, especially all of us that are so used to just self-deprecation, are very uncomfortable with compliments or positive talk directed at us. Mm-hmm. So they're going to be uncomfortable with it at first, but the more you do it, the more used to it they'll be.
Right, because it needs to be their reality.
Yeah. So even just somebody saying like, I'm stupid, you can go back at that with like, don't say that about yourself. I don't think that about you. Why are you saying that about yourself? Just something like that.
And then make them do the facts.
And if this is an anxiety situation where there's where it's a more physical fear, if it's something
like panic attacks,
the writer said something about like they'll bring up or they'll explain these situations that are so out of pocket or just like out of nowhere, like clearly that's not going to happen. People can tell me that about a roller coaster till they're blue in the face, but I'm still not going to go on it because it's just a fear. Like there's a physical fear of my safety, fear of this.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're just not going to win. It's good to have these conversations to try and make somebody more comfortable, but also keep in mind, choose your battles.
Right.
If you're doing all these things, they're just not calming down about it, then just come to a truce and like, oh, okay, you're not going to convince them or you're not going to get past this. You've kind of done all you could. You've given them like resources and tools to help them. Sometimes you just got to let them freak out a little bit and just give them space after it's all said and done.
Yeah.
Because we all just need to freak out sometimes.
Freak out!
And that's the best way to like let it all out. But no, specifically panic attacks, breathing with them is a really, really good thing to do. If you do know somebody that has panic attacks, it's kind of like what I was talking about with whispering. If you slow down and measure like your breathing, they'll start to do that. That's one thing I have seen.
Yeah. I also like to have them like focus on different things, because that's what I do. Like when I start to have a panic attack, I start to like find what I specifically do. Some people focus on the senses. So like finding 5 things you can touch, 4 things you can smell, 3 things you can see, 2 things you can lick. Gross. What's the other sense am I missing? 1 thing you can hear. I think that's the one I missed.
Yeah.
Great. Covered them all. That's one thing people like to do. Basically, it's just getting your mind away from those thoughts and those feelings. And then it, again, helps to, like, regulate your breathing. Because, like, often I would think that I couldn't breathe. And that's what would scare me. And that's what would keep it getting worse. But one thing I started doing is I find colors. So I will look for something green, something blue, like something orange, because it's just like getting you to focus on something different. And it's really helped me too. And I meditate a lot as well. And that's really nice.
And don't talk at the person. That's not going to help anything. Because even though you're trying to help and it feels like they're just being combative or something, just hearing something barked at you and somebody being like, breathe, is not going to help you breathe or calm you down. And that's why using less words, I actually used to use this with my students, using less words and showing by example is a better way to have somebody to just kind of flick something in their brain so like they start just kind of mocking what you do, because it's just something we naturally do as people. And giving them space. You can do all of that. You don't have to be on top of them or even close to them. I had a friend, we were on set one time for this like short series I was doing. It was the director. She started having a panic attack at one point, and I was just worried because she left the building and she was like out like on the sidewalk, but it was still like, and it wasn't a very busy street, but I was just like, I just want to have eyes on her. And I was just checking in with her. I waited a few seconds. I went out and I was like, I'm here if you need anything, like just kind of like letting her know somebody was there and just like trying to do like calming things, and also listening to what she said she needed. If she was like, no, I'm fine, like if she really needed, like she said it a few times where she was like, it's okay, you can go back inside, I'll be fine, and blah blah blah, you know, you can come check on me if I'm not back by this time, blah blah blah, something like that. Just listen to them and let them tell you what they need. If there's somebody who's aware like that, if there's somebody who regularly has panic attacks, they've been through it and they kind of know. So just kind of listening to them and helping from afar is not a bad thing. You don't have to be right.
I think you've even told me that before, like when you vented to me that you're like, I've been like, I don't know what to say, and you're like, I don't need you to say anything, I just need you to listen. You're like, this isn't a time. So it's like, yeah, sometimes you just need to hear what they need. And it's not necessarily like an advice thing. So it's always, you can always ask like, what do you need from me here? Yeah. And then you can always give their feedback at the end if you feel like it is something like super like harmful to like how they're speaking about themselves or like a way that they're thinking, where like you think it's something that like would actually make sense and be beneficial. But not being like, no, don't think like that, you big silly goose. Like, obviously that's not going to help. So keep your mouth shut.
It's like improv. Yes. And
right. Just so like, I guess just like read the room too. Yeah. Like, and if you're ever unsure, you can always be like, what do you need from me? And they can tell you from there. They might be like, I don't know. And then maybe that's a time for you to throw in some like thoughtful suggestions. Or maybe they're just like, I need you to listen, and you do so. And then at the end, if you feel appropriate, you can be like, you can always ask too, like, may I say something? Like, would this? Yeah. That's always great. But like, I feel like we've given you so much. Yeah. Did you write it all down? Yeah. Get out there and go help your friends.
And don't take it personally when they're like, I just need space. I just need to be alone. Because sometimes that's all you need.
Sometimes you do. And then sometimes they come back. Yeah. But yeah, you can just, when in doubt, ask them what they need, and then always validate, listen, present facts, like, fuck.
I hope we helped. I hope that makes sense. And if you have more questions or you don't really understand anything that we explained or anything we brought up, or you want more explanation,
and you want to talk to us,
yeah, let us know. Yeah. Email us or comment on social media.
Ooh. Or both, please. Yeah. We could really use it. Okay.
We want to, that's what we need. We want to hear from you guys.
Yes. So be there for us. Okay?
Email us.
don't like drunk Abby because she's so unpredictable. And I would say that like a drunk alter ego for me is like somebody who thinks they're in the mafia and is like, no, but like for real, like I just give like the confidence and like the reassurance that like my life will work out. Like literally, I don't think you even know this story.
Oh.
But like when I was turned 21, I went to Vegas with my friends and my friend lost my ID in the club. Did I care when she told me? I said, it'll come back. I started smoking a cigarette and I was like, cigarette in my mouth. I don't know why I had one. But I was like,
yeah, that's surprising for you.
That's why I don't like her. Why would you do that? I'm like, who the fuck do you think you are? Anyway, so I'm just like, yeah, it'll come back, Melissa. I'm like, don't even worry. I was just like, I'm sure it'll turn up in a club in Vegas. Mm-hmm. Okay, but it did, bitch. Somebody turned it into security.
How?
Somebody turned it into security. Like Melissa left like for the rest of the night. That was her mission. She was trying to find it. Keep cutting to me. I'm on the dance floor. I'm dancing. I don't care. I'm like, it should turn up. That's what I think. That's what I think.
You put it into the universe.
And that's what I said. I said, Melissa, babe.
So you are proof that works.
Because
your shit gets lost, should not come back, my shit and always
gets
does.
Lost in foreign countries and comes back.
Like,
get out of here. Get out. Basically, travel with me.
Because I don't have that luck.
Well, I'm sorry. I
have the opposite.
I know. I don't know. Like, I think the man upstairs is like, if I'm going to put her through it, it's going to be funny.
He just likes giving you stories.
He likes to give me stories. He's done a lot. Fuck you, man.
I have stories, but they just never end with like, and then I got my phone back. Mine's like, and then this happened, and then somehow this happened.
My story's like, oh yeah, when I was in Mexico when I was 18, I convinced the bartender to give us free drinks for the entire week, and then on the last night, he let me bartend.
What the hell?
That's a wild story that like I do look back on with my friend Marin. And like when you're a kid, the story, like basically everything that happened on that trip when you're a kid sounds so amazing and fun. But like me as an adult, I'm like, oh my God. Like I am truly just so lucky I did not end up on Nancy Grace. I'm not even like, that's like, when I look back at my time in Mexico, I think, whew. Wow.
I know. I'm very lucky to have you here.
Basically everywhere I go. Anytime I travel, I'm lucky I come back. I am lucky it's the charisma. I truly think it's my charisma that gets me back. Yeah, because I feel like I could talk somebody out of kidnapping me. I'd be like, do you think you want to do this? Because I feel like you might actually want to be my friend. And then they're like,
I kind of want to be your friend. Hey, so what would it take for you to key somebody's car?
Let me ask you do you like questions?
I love questions.
And I would be like,
so many.
You
Ready?
can put me
go.
Right. And I'd be like, you can put me back wherever you want because guess what? I don't know anything about direction.
Me being with you and you putting me over there is the same thing because I have no idea where I'm at all the time.
You know? Wah, wah. Help me out. No, that's what I just think. I just think I would be like, you don't want to do this. And they'd be like, no, you're right. Watch somebody try and oh my God, let me. Ah!
Yeah, don't put that in.
Basically, I will. I've always considered myself like, that's why I think I make a great Alexis from Schitt's Creek.
You are.
Because like you hear all her wild stories on there and you're like, no fucking way. But I've had so many of those
She's
stories.
Like, it's fine.
And I'm like, but like, I'm like, no, people like that do exist. You're looking at one. Like.
Well, that's the perfect segue into what I wanted to talk about. So sometimes we just want to relax and read other people's stories. And as much as Reddit can be the worst place on the internet, there's some fun stories on there. And one of my favorite places is Ask Reddit. I try to stay off, but I sometimes, you're just doom scrolling. And I like Ask Reddit because it is the most random shit ever. But I did come across this one on Ask Reddit that is, what is a personal story that you have that you don't tell because it sounds made up? Love that. I know we're going to get some good stories out of there. So I just wanted to talk about some of these stories.
Oh my God. Yeah. Let's hear some of them.
When I was 30, I found out my mom used to dirt track race back in the 40s until my granddad found out and made her stop. She had some old pictures, never would have believed my typical 1950s housewife mother was such a badass. Oh, I surprised her with a 39 Ford I had fixed up for her a few years after that, and she took me out, scared the shit out of me. Mom passed away a few years back, but I've still got the car. Oh, I love that. You know, that's something I like never think about is like
that our parents were people like before us.
That, yeah, sometimes I will get into that thought process just seeing a picture or something like that, like this guy. But also like all of these crazy people from history like have families.
Yeah.
So like somebody has, they're like, oh yeah, that's my aunt. So, like that did this crazy thing from like, that's so cool. I love that. But also finding that out about your own parent and being like, oh yeah, they used to race cars.
Yeah, that's
in the 40s.
That's
like,
pretty badass.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I love that.
That is really cool.
I like it wasn't I don't have that, but it was fun when we did find out that, which I think I may have brought this up before. It was from a very distant cousin that we were talking to at my grandpa's 90th birthday party. He was like, oh, the actors, which he was saying that just because my sisters and I were like in theater in high school. And we're like, oh, sure. Who are you? But he was like, oh yeah, just like our cousin. But he did tell us that a distant cousin of ours is the pizza guy from Home Alone.
Oh yeah. So
and we confirmed it.
Bree's pretty famous.
I don't remember what my dad did, but he like looked, he was like, oh yeah, was it this person? And then like, I don't know, did his little thing. And he was like, oh yeah, it was blah, blah, blah. And he was the pizza guy in Home Alone. I was like, what the hell? That's it's true.
That is dope as fuck.
I love that.
I love things like that too. Like I think I told you last week, but like my dad went to the school that The Breakfast Club was shot in.
Oh yeah.
And anytime I watch that movie, like I would always make my dad point out, I'm like, you took like obviously the library and stuff, but like, so the school ended up being like shut down after that because they didn't have enough people going there. So like that's when they were filming too. But it's just so cool to think about. But like one story about my dad's childhood, I'm like, whoa, sometimes.
Yeah.
Because he also would like, and that truly is something that like, it sounds crazy, but like he grew up in a neighborhood where like the mafia was still like a thing.
Oh yeah.
And
I have a story that I literally cannot say on this podcast, but because like I know some people who know some people who are connected.
But like his neighbor was connected some way and like must have done something to piss somebody off because they blew up his car.
Oh my god.
Right? So fucked.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I just like love hearing that story.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yo, that's wild. I'm like, oh, I love the mafia.
Well, and there's things, especially in Chicago, like that is such a big part of our history that realizing that it wasn't like that there's still shit that happens really. And that the thing that we think about, like thinking about like Goodfellas and like that kind of stuff, like wasn't that long ago.
No, I know. We should have been born sooner.
But it's cool. I like that.
It's so cool. I love things
history.
like that. Oh yeah, it's really cool. But I feel like, is there like any other fun stories?
Yeah. They said, not me, but my dad lived a wild and unbelievable life. He was a world-wandering vagabond who joined the Navy at 16 by giving his older brothers information. Oh my God. That's the other thing. It's just like the shit that people could get away with.
They would just be doing shit.
Back in the 1960s, my dad was in a plane crash, small plane, and it went down in the desert near Mexico. They didn't know what to do, so they split up. Two went in one direction, one went another, and my dad went on his own. They thought one of them would run in to help that way. My dad ended up somewhere in Mexico and never went back. He just like hung around and traveled all over Central and South America. After almost a year, he decided it was time to go back home, but he ran out of cash or had no cash. So he sold his watch for a motorcycle, used that to get to Mexico. Then he sold/traded that motorcycle for a car. My dad was a mechanic. He could make any piece of shit with an engine run for a bit at least. then drove north towards the U.S. He had no documentation, so he sold the car, walked through a ravine back into the U.S. When he actually made it to his brother's place through a combination of walking and hitchhiking, his brother and one of the guys from the plane crash were sitting on the porch drinking beers. They thought my dad had died. My dad thought the other guy died. They drank beers, played cards, and shot the shit. Years later, before I was born, my dad told my mom he was going to get the watch back. He drove from Chicago to Mexico, took a bus to some place in Chiapas. I hope I'm saying that right. Found the guy he sold the watch to, bought it back, and then drove all the way back to Chicago. I have the watch. We have pictures of my dad as a young man living it up in Mexico, India, West Germany, UK, the Philippines, Hawaii, all over the US, postcards he wrote to his brother, and so on. Places that don't even exist anymore. My dad died when I was 16 years old. It gets better. Somebody commented and said, your dad was an OG. Can you imagine? Did your mom remarry? He says, no, my mother is gay, and she and my dad had more of a friendship/loving relationship. My dad knew my mom was gay. They discussed it. Back then, my mother couldn't be out of the closet, but wanted a child. My dad obliged, if you follow, and married my mom so we would have something when he passed. They lived together till he died, but were not lovers. They just loved each other and me. I was born in the 1970s, different times, my brother. What the fuck? Like, this guy's family's life, like, just is incredible.
Yeah, I'm a little bit like, she's too stunned to speak. That's so, first off, your dad's a fucking bad bitch.
Yeah.
What a bad bitch. He's like, I just got into a plane crash. I will think I will do some traveling.
Talk about just finding a solution. Like,
he said, it's not that bad.
He said, it'll work out.
It's
just
actually,
like you.
Him and I should fucking travel together is all I'm learning from this, is what I should. Fuck.
He just finds a way. That's incredible.
Was I him reincarnated?
Maybe.
I do wear a gold. No, I don't wear a gold watch. How fucking wild would that be? No, that's just the crazy.
He got it back.
He got it back. He got it. He said, no, it's there. I'll get it.
Yeah. Wait, hold on a sec. I'll be right back.
I just gotta go. No, I gotta go to Mexico. I can't talk. I gotta go to Mexico real quick. Bye. Okay, I love you. Bye.
God damn.
No, I won't be home for dinner.
I do feel like that stuff's just not possible anymore. I feel like some people can have something close to that, but there's so much more work around.
Oh yeah, no, it's certainly not that easy anymore. Just walk through a ravine.
Jesus.
No, that's wild. And just, what are the odds just sitting on the porch drinking a beer?
Yeah.
They're like, I thought you died. No, I thought you died.
Just like pointing at each other like, hey, it's you.
Have a beer. Like that Spider-Man meme.
Yeah. God, that's wild. I have lived nothing even close to that.
You said you just stand there. So,
yeah.
So we know.
I'm like, I've been to Disney twice.
Woo! Slow down, lady, she said. Gosh. Yeah, no. Unfortunately, I have like stories that are relatable to that. I don't like that too. I have like few. Like one that is like the closest to that is the time when I was ATVing in Belize.
Oh.
And I drove off the bridge.
Oh my God.
I drove off of an 8-foot bridge. Landed like sideways in a river. Luckily, it wasn't like very deep, but like.
You say luckily. I think luckily is like the way that you landed and that it didn't like trap you.
Facts. Big facts. So yes, I did like fall off of the bridge and they definitely were like, you should leave. And I was like, no. They were definitely like, you kind of are a liability now.
Oh my God.
Because like, spoiler alert, I also wasn't good at ATVing and that wasn't like the first time I crashed on that route. That like by the third crash, they were like, will you go?
Oh my God.
No, I crashed a couple of times, but like not like off of a bridge again, but like just went off and didn't.
Keep going off the same bridge.
I don't like how I fell. I want to try it this way.
I can do it this time.
No, but like really, I just wanted to stay because we got to go like explore a cave after, and that's really why I wanted to be there. So I said I'm not leaving. But I came back.
You want to explore the cave,
right? It's called Growth Brie. Look it up. There are no spiders in that one.
Oh, okay.
To my knowledge.
Right. Nobody
just
told
a lot
you.
of drops. No, but like I really wanted to explore this cave, so I was like, I'm not going anywhere. So I finished the tour. I only came back with like a bruise on my leg, a bad one, but like that's it. And it was
sometimes that's fun to like just have this nasty bruise and be
yeah, I was like,
what happened?
Look, I was like, oh my god, please,
I just fell off.
I'll do a press release at 6. I'm going live on Facebook. No, and it's a great icebreaker too when I go on dates. Because I'm like, guess what? I drove off a bridge.
Hey, so
I
should know about me.
Fucking can't drive.
If we ever go ATVing,
I'm gonna ride on the back. I've accepted my fate on that one. I'm not like, my ego is not too big, but like, no, me and your dad, I feel like we had a problem, and we were like, damn, that happened.
Yep.
But let's get back on track.
Just kept going.
Let's get back on track here.
The amount of things this man did to get back to the U.S. He used all of the transportation,
all the resources. Ladies, everybody. Just basically, if you wanted to, you would. And if you wish it and think it, it's reality. Because he said, I want the watch, therefore the watch will be there.
Yeah, he said, I'll go get it. BRB. This is cute. In high school, at the height of the Super Soaker craze, my buddy and I were driving around our small town looking for people we knew so we could do a water gun drive-by on them. At a red light, we stopped next to a senior couple in a big old Buick or something. Sitting in the passenger seat, I pointed my water gun at them playfully, and they acted scared. We all laughed. As I turned to tell my buddy, the driver, what just happened, I caught a spray of water on the side of my face. The old couple had a loaded Super Soaker too. And they peeled out, leaving us in the dust and my face dripping.
Oh my God.
That's adorable. That's the kind of couple I want to be when I'm old.
That's dope as fuck.
Just be big old kids.
That's true. Honestly, I do want that. I would love to do that with my significant other. Oh, that post just called us single. I don't know how much I want to talk about it now. Just kidding.
That's so cute. I'll have those moments with like some of my family members, like my aunt and uncle, just like observing or seeing little cute things they do, and I'm like, that you guys are so cute. You're just big old kids, especially my aunt Lorraine. I might have talked about her before. She's the one. I think I did. Oh, did it ever air though? I don't remember, but if I have talked about her before, she's my aunt that loves to scare everybody.
Love that. Love that for her.
Me too. She's really good at it. She used to have, she's a hairdresser, and she had her, like, I think I've told you about this, the like mannequin head that you like practice on. Yeah. She loved hiding that thing around to scare people when she was going through school, like when it was just her siblings, and then as all of us were born and kids, she loved using that head to scare the shit out of us. She's just living life her way and making her own fun.
Making my way downtown. I feel like you have to have a story, Brie, where it's like there's something that happened to you that I wouldn't believe.
I don't know. I feel like my most, even as I was like living it, it's just not as exciting because not everybody knows him. But the night that Kaylee and I hung out with Drake Bell, like,
oh yeah,
that was a weird night. That was so, like, I just never, everything that happened I never saw coming. I also feel like it's one of those things that, like, observing, it'd be like, what is that? What just happened?
Is that Drake Bell? Did I just hang out with Drake Bell all night?
But I'll try to make it short. My sister and I went to a Drake Bell concert in Chicago, in Evanston, and it was like a very small little venue, and he did stick around afterwards to take pictures and talk to everybody that stood in line. And we did talk to him, stood in line, waited to take pictures with him. And then as we were like heading away, he sent his guitarist over to me and my sister to be like, hey, what are you guys doing? Like, do you want to hang out? We're all going to have pizza. Cause it's like half venue, half pizza place, which sounds really rinky dink, but it was a really nice, really cute venue. So there was like a few of us. There was like me and my sister, this one girl that was a fan of his that he like had kept in touch with like way in the beginning of his career. And he's just kind of always kept in touch with her, I think via like Twitter. And then one girl that was very drunk that was clearly just there for the pianist. The piano player.
Pianist. The pianist.
But also, yes, whatever you're thinking is also correct.
She's getting it.
So we had dinner with him, and he didn't pay he only paid for himself, I should say. It was split multiple ways.
Are you kidding me?
No. We were all like, are you serious?
Are you fucking kidding me, Drake?
So yeah, he didn't pay for dinner. But then they were like, what are you guys doing now? Like, we're just gonna go back to the hotel, which sounds seedy, like that sounds sketch. But I promise you the entire story is very PG. At least for me and my sister.
She said I can't comment on other people.
Yeah.
The pianist girl.
Exactly. Also, this was winter in Chicago, so we had just had a huge snowstorm, and it was currently snowing as the concert was going on, so streets were not plowed well. And we were also in frickin' Evanston, which has so many one-way streets that is so annoying, and we were unfamiliar with it at this point, so as we're leaving to go meet Drake and his band at his hotel, we went the wrong way down a one-way. So then we took an alley to correct. And of course a cop saw us. So we get pulled over. And as we're pulled over, and we even said in the restaurant, we made some joke about us getting a ticket because it was snowing. We're like, oh, we're probably going to get back to the car and there'll be a ticket. He was like, no way. So then we're pulled over, and as we are pulled over, Drake Bell is walking in the middle of the street coming back from a convenience store to get something for his friend. And he stopped and he's like, oh my God. And we're like, Drake,
it's us.
And he was like, you totally called it. As we're like getting a ticket. And then he just keeps going. He's like, we'll see you at the hotel. I was like, you couldn't, like, I don't know how much pull you have. I don't know if this cop knows who you are, but like,
sir, did you know that's Drake Bell?
So then we get to the hotel, and the door person like had to call up. We were like, we're here to see Drake Bell. And he was like, oh yeah. So then he like had to come down to get us. And then we literally just hung out in his hotel room watching TV, listening to music. We listened to Elton John. I talked about how much I love the song Philadelphia Freedom because of the violins, and he totally felt me on it.
Bitch.
We totally connected.
So me and Drake Bell.
Yeah, we totally bonded over that song. But yeah, we literally just like listened to music and watched TV, and then it was like so fucking late, so we just left. At some point, his guitarist and the piano guy also came into the room and was just like talking with us too. But yeah, also that was the night I learned that sometimes the way a person laughs can really turn me off.
Oh my God, does he have a bad laugh?
Yeah, he kind of has a goofy laugh.
No.
And I know
that's
when
okay.
the first time I heard it, I was like,
Fuck.
It was my whole childhood crush just came tumbling
We never
down.
did hear him laugh. We never did
like,
hear him laugh. But
no.
do you remember the Drake and Josh movie? I ate that shit
Yeah.
up. I fucking ate that shit up. I loved that. Oh, God.
Yeah, that's
Don't meet your heroes pretty much, huh, there.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. I never got to hang out with anybody famous. You bitch.
It was really weird.
I did take care of the mayor of Chicago when I still served.
Oh, yeah.
18% tipper. I'm not bitter. I just think that's wild.
Oh, yeah.
Is all I have to say.
Especially because they were currently mayor. It's like, we know you have money. So
Give me your card right now.
Yeah.
Give me your money.
I still on my phone have a video of a drunk Danny Glover telling me, forgetting his name, or at least playing it off like he forgot his name. He said, "What's my name again? I'm Danny Glover, and we are at the Tribeca Film Festival."
Ooh.
From when I very, very briefly had we were, I think, technically interns for the social media, but they didn't use any of our shit. So
you just went on a trip.
Yeah, I just went on a trip and got to take videos of celebrities.
That's fun. That's a good day.
To places. Oh, I did take, that's probably one of my cooler stories is that whole trip. Because I got I took red carpet pictures of the Broad City Girls. I still have those pictures too. And
okay. Well, there's no need to brag.
We snuck into the Q&A. Because we asked first. We tried to be good little girls, and we're like, "Hey, can we get some coverage of this?" They're like, "We already have somebody assigned to that. You guys are supposed to be here." We said, "Okay," but we had lanyards, so we just walked in.
We said
lanyards and a tripod and cameras. So we were like, "Okay," and then walked in. And as we were leaving, we did see the guy that we reported to. We were like, "Oh shit."
Oh, fire me.
Peeled out
bitch.
of there. Yeah, I was like, I don't know, what are you going to do?
I do take that back. I did meet a celebrity briefly once, and it was more like an old Western standoff than it was like an actual meet and greet. When I did my internship once, it was for a Spike Lee film when I very briefly worked in film, and Spike Lee and I were in the same room, and all we did was stare at each other. It was so weird. It like I said, it was but it wasn't like love at first sight. Ew. I didn't say it. But no, it was literally just like us staring at each other. It was so awkward. I was like, "Hey, I'll have those extra sheets pulled for you soon." But he didn't say anything to me. I didn't say anything to him. And then he just walked out of the room. And I was like, I looked around and I was like, celebrities are weird. No, I'm just kidding. It was just very interesting. That's the closest I've ever been with anybody. It could have been Joan Allen. Do you guys remember her? I could have met her. But that's neither here nor there.
Coulda.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Oh, I also have the worst picture in the world ever taken of me with Judy Greer.
You met Judy Greer?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to talk about it because I love her. So stop.
I'll tell you, I'll validate. She is so sweet.
Good.
In the very short amount of time that I met her. And I should say it's not a bad picture of her because she never looks bad. It's the worst picture ever taken of me.
I'm so happy to hear that Judy Greer is nice. I needed to hear that.
She's so nice.
I really did need that.
I love her. Love that. Yeah, so I do have some random celebrity stories.
Yeah, I love how this turned into us just kind of name dropping a little bit. Did everybody enjoy that? I mean, basically now let us know if you have any crazy fucking stories that we wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
If you've met any celebrities. Mm-hmm. I guess we just basically learned that we talk a lot. Because I think we only did two.
I knew that.
Oops. But no, everybody, let us know how fucking wild you are too. If you're you have 9 lives like me.
Yeah.
Or if you prefer just to stand like Brie.
Observe and then just happen across some celebrities.
And freak out and meet a celebrity along the way. Me, yikes, just stay home. And I do need everybody else to rate us.
Yeah.
To subscribe to us, to follow us, to write to us.
Please.
Tell us everything.
Your stories.
Literally.
I just love stories. That's literally what this was. I just like
That's
hearing
all this
people's
was.
stories.
We've said it before. We just like to know.
I just want to know some stuff so I can go tell other people and be like, know what this other person told me one
Do you
night?
want to know about this guy's dad?
Yeah. It's wild.
Come on, give us something to talk about. We're running out of things to talk about since we're always together. Yeah. So it'd be really helpful if you guys could if you're a good roommate.
But we like just kind of hanging out with you guys like this too.
Yeah, shooting the shit.
You guys liked this. If you want more of it, let us know.
Yeah. And you know the only way you can do that. I'm going to say it again. The only way.
Yeah.
There's only one. Don't make me say it.
We're not mind readers.
Yeah, don't make me say it.
Don't make me sing.
Don't make me sing. Don't make me sing the words wrong.
Anyways. thank you guys so much for coming. We hope that we didn't scare you too much and scare you away in the beginning. Hope we kind of brought it back around, and hope you liked just hanging out with us, because we have fun. This is like us just hanging out.
I think we kept it real today.
On the couch. Yeah.
Very real. Very candid episode that y'all got here. So if you liked it, well, then you know that you just need to keep coming back, because it's just this and more, baby.
Yeah.
So you know where to find us. We'll see you soon.
See you next time.
In the meantime, stay sane, stay healthy, stay happy.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.